This video then is the November 2013 higher tier paper, and this is the calculator paper this time. Now, this is the third one of these videos we've done. This is the first one on the iPad, so apologies for the handwriting gets a little bit scruffy at times. But the idea here is to show you how to get a grade C on this paper. So it's mostly meant for my class this year. Might be useful for some other people. So 30 marks for a grade C on this paper, 49 marks for a grade B on this paper, and I've just been through the paper. I think there's 44 marks that we can have a go at, and maybe there's another 15 if you're feeling confident as well. So here we are then with the first question, and this is one of those where we've got to type it in the calculator to work it out. Now, my advice here would be to type the top in the calculator first of all. So I'm just doing that on my calculator off screen here. So 7056, and I've pressed the square root button, and I get that 84 is the answer on the top. If I deal with the bottom, 0.35 times 12.8 is what I'm typing in my calculator, and I'm getting 4.48. So I'll write that down, and then I'm going to type in the calculator 84 divided by 4.48, and the answer I'm getting is 18.75. So the key there is deal with the top first, deal with the bottom separately, and work from there. Now, this next mark, this 1 mark here for rounding to one significant figure, is where a lot of people got stuck. One significant figure, remember, we start here with the 1, and we put a line down after the 1. Now, that we then look to the right of the line, we've got an 8, so we round the 1 up to 2 and 20 to one significant figure is what we're looking for there. Okay, Pavel and Katie share some sweets in the ratio 3 to 8. Now, a lot of people set off doing this in a sensible way, but didn't quite finish it. So we've got the ratio 3 to 8, so 8 boxes to draw on this side. There we go, 8 boxes. And this is Pavel and Katie. So Pavel on this left-hand side, and Katie, sorry, there we go. Pavel on the left-hand side over here, Katie on the right-hand side over here. Now the question says that Katie gets 32 sweets. So that 32 gets split up across these boxes for Katie. So that is 32 split up into 8 boxes. You can stick that in your calculator if you want, 32 divided by 8, but we're going to get 4 in each box. Once we've filled in Katie's boxes, we make sure that we put the same number in every box across the whole question. So Pavel gets 3 lots of 4, so that is 12 sweets. Next part of the question then. Katie has a tin of chocolates. There are 80 chocolates in the tin. 45% of the chocolates have toffee in the middle. Work out the number of chocolates that have toffee in the middle. So we want 45% of 80. Now we're on a calculator paper, so we could do 80 divided by 100 to find 1%, and then times the answer by 45. Or what a few people did is say that 10% of 80 is 8, so 5% of 80 is 4, and then do 4 lots of 10% to find 40%, and add on 5%. Either way, we should end up with the answer 36. Okay, Bill has some counters in a bag. 3 of the counters are red, 7 of the counters are blue, the rest of the counters are yellow. Bill takes a random counter from the bag. The probability that he takes a yellow counter is 2/7. How many yellow counters are in the bag before Bill takes a counter? So we know that 2/7, oops, excuse me, let's start that again. We know that 2/7 is the fraction of yellow counters in the bag. Now, 3 of the counters are red, 7 of the counters are blue, and the rest of the counters are yellow. So we've got however many counters in the bag. We've got 3 and 7, that's the red and the blue ones. So that's at least 10 counters in the bag. And the fraction of the counters that are yellow is 2/7. So what we're looking for here is a fraction that's the same as 2/7. So that could be 4/14. It could be 6 out of 21 or something like that. So if we have 4/14ths, then that would mean 4 yellow counters and a total of 14 counters. If we have 6 out of 21, then that would mean that we got 3 red, 7 blue, and 11 yellow out of 21 counters in total. So it's a bit of a tricky one thinking about equivalent fractions here. That's the key to this one. To be honest, bit of a sneaky question. Wouldn't expect everybody to be able to get all of this one, but that's the idea. 2/7 is the fraction of yellow counters there are in the bag. We want to know, if we think about the total number of counters, well, if we got 2/7, we could have, that's the same as 4 out of 14 or 6 out of 21 or any other fraction you like, as long as it's equivalent to 2/7. Bit of a tricky one. Now, with this one, the mistake a lot of people made here was drawing it from the wrong side. So on the centimetre square, we draw the side elevation of the solid prism, and it says here from the direction shown by the arrow. So that means we draw it from this side. One mistake that people made was to draw it from this side instead. The other mistake that people made was to not look at the numbers that we've got here. We've got 3 centimetres there and 2 centimetres there and 5 centimetres there. So what we were looking for full marks was 5 centimetres wide, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 centimetres and 3 centimetres up, and then a line across after the 2 centimetres height. So obviously with a ruler for full marks, but that's the shape that we're looking for. Ben goes on holiday to Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, Ben sees a camera costing 3,179.55 Hong Kong dollars. In London, the identical camera costs £285. The exchange rate is here, $12.30. Ben buys the camera in Hong Kong. How much cheaper is the camera in Hong Kong than in London? Well, what that's asking us to do then is to take the dollars, Hong Kong dollars, and convert them into pounds, and then compare the two amounts. Or the other way we can do it is to take the pounds and convert them into dollars and compare the two amounts. I think I'll convert into dollars just because when I mark the paper this week, that's the way most people have done it. You can do it the other way around quite happily as well. So if we're converting from pounds to dollars, we've got to times, so £285 times the exchange rate, 12.3, and that's this is the point at which we'd go for the calculator. So 285 times 12.3 is what's going in my calculator, and what's coming out is 3505.5. And that is the number of Hong Kong dollars, and that's obviously 3,505 Hong Kong dollars 50 cents. And the question is, how much cheaper is the camera in Hong Kong? So I'm going to have to do 3179. Oh, sorry, that's the price in the price in London is this many Hong Kong dollars. So 3505.50 take away 3179.55, and again we'll type that in the calculator, and just doing that now, take away 3179.55 is giving me 325.95 in Hong Kong dollars. Okay, now the key to this question was to realise that you need to draw a two-way table. Now, a lot of people did some of the right working out without a two-way table, but it's very difficult for the examiner to find the right numbers on the piece of paper and to give you the credit for it. So it's much better in a two-way table. So we've got 130 adults who are studying French or Spanish or German, and they're either male or female. So we have a total of 130. 96 women in total, so female is 96 in total. 12 of the women study French, so that's 12 of the women study French, 73 of the adults study Spanish, so that's 73 down here. 55 of the women study Spanish, so that's 55 over here. And 9 of the men study German, so men studying German, that's a 9. How many adults study French? So what we're looking for is this number down here. So how are we going to get this one? Well, I'm going to go for this gap first. Now that is 12 plus 55 plus something is 96. Well, 12 plus 55 is 67. 67 plus 19 is 96. And remember, you've got your calculator to help you here if you need it. 9 plus 19 is 27, so that fills us a gap in there. And then 73 plus 27 gives us an answer of 100, so that gives me a gap of 30. Now there's a mistake in there somewhere. Oh, there we go, 9 plus 19 is 28. I'm just remembering the answer from the mark scheme is actually 29. So 73 plus 28 would give us 101. So this gap here, 101 plus this something is 130, so our final answer, 29. So remember, with these two-way tables, the idea is look for something which is the only gap in that row or that column. So there's a couple of different ways to doing this. We could have filled in this gap first of all, and then we could have filled in this gap, and then this gap, and then got to the 29 that way. But either way, 29 is our final answer. If you do this in a table like this, by the way, make sure that at the bottom of it you write down final answer 29 and put it in a box or underline it or something like that. Now this was a bit of a tricky question. A lot of people got 3 out of 4 marks here, but not the right final answer. I think probably the best way to do this, if we're working out how much each plant costs, so we're going to do the price per plant. So how much money it costs in pounds divided by how many plants. So for a small tray, it would be £6.50 divided by 30. For a medium, it's £8.95 divided by 40, and for a large, that's £10.99 divided by 50. Type those in the calculator and look for the smallest. Now a lot of people did 30 divided by £6.50, which is the opposite way round. And if you do that, then what you're doing is plants per pound. So that calculation, it's fine, you can get 3 marks for doing 30 divided by £6.50, for doing 40 divided by £8.95, and for doing 50 divided by £10.99. But what you've got there is how many plants can you get for a pound. So you're then looking for the largest number out of those 3, and some people look for the smallest. So 2 different ways of doing it. Question 8 then. First 4 times of an arithmetic sequence. Not too easy, but we have seen these examples before. So we write down 3, 10, 17, 24. There's our sequence. We write it in a table with n as 1, 2, 3, 4. That's our position. We notice this goes up in 7s, so we're looking at the 7 times table. That's 7n. So 7, 14, 21, and so on. And we notice to get from the middle row to the bottom row, it's take away 4, so 7n minus 4. Now a lot of people, and that's our answer for the final line, 7n minus 4. A lot of people did very well on this. Is 150 a term in the sequence? And the answer was yes, it is, because 154 is in the 7 times table, and if you take away 4, you get 150. So some people just wrote it as 7 times, I think it's 22. 7 times 22, take away 4 is 150, so it's the 22nd term in the sequence. Now this question isn't really something we've covered this year, but I'm including it in this video because a lot of people got it right when we tried this. So I think the way that we can do it is if we look at this circle here, all the angles in that circle add up to 360 degrees. So we've got 25 and 25 and 25 and 25, so that's 100. So these angles that I'm marking in now add up to 260. The whole thing all the way around adds up to 360. These 25-degree angles make a total of 100, so that leaves 260 left for these little angles here. So those angles there add up to 260, so one of those is going to be a quarter of 260. So 260 divided by 4, we could type that in the calculator if we want, or we could just half it and half it again. So half of 260 is 130, half of that is 65. So what we've found out so far is that we've got one of these angles here is 65, and that makes this angle across here 65 because this shape here is a rhombus, this shape here, sorry, is a rhombus, and in a rhombus the opposite angles are the same size. So 65 adds 65. This angle here is the same as angle A, and a lot of people remembered that the angles in a quadrilateral add up to 360. So 65 adds 65 is 130. So these two angles here, these A's, add up to 230 because all four of the angles in this shape add up to 360. And then one, so if that 230 is two A's, so one A would have to be 115 degrees. And don't forget, it says you must show you're working out. So I've talked you through it, but the way we've written it here wouldn't get us full marks. We'd have to make sure we'd written down everything that we need. Sasha takes a music exam, so she's got 62 out of 80, and if we type that in a calculator, 62 divided by 80, we get a decimal. To turn it into a percentage, we times by 100, and the answer comes out as 70 something, which is a merit mark. So you get a mark if you've got that, or the equivalent working out, or the answer, and then a mark for saying it's a merit. Question 11. We're timesing with indices. The rule is add the indices, so x to the power of 10. This one here is a power to a power, so m to the power of 4 to the power of 3, so we times the indices, so it's an m to the power of 12. Part C, I wouldn't expect everyone to be able to do, but we can have a bit of a go at it. 36 over 12, a over a to the power of 5, and f to the power of 8 over f to the power of 2. 36 divided by 12 is 3. Then we're dividing indices, so we're going to take away the power. So this is a to the power of 1 divided by a to the power of 5, so a to the power of minus 4. This is f to the power of 8 divided by f to the power of 2, so f to the power of 6, because the rule is if you're dividing, you take away the indices. Next question is, okay, it is this one. Circle has diameter of 140 centimetres. Work out the circumference. So we're going to remember that the circumference is 2 times pi times the radius. So the circumference is 2 times 3.14 times the radius. Now the question gives us the diameter, so the radius would be half of that, which is 70. So 2 times 3.14 times 70, and if you type that in your calculator, we're going to get a decimal here, 3.14 times 2 times 70. So we get 400, what I'm getting out of my calculator is 439.6, and the question says give your answer to three significant figures. So we should give the answer as 400, well, three significant figures, 1, 2, 3, line down here. 6 makes this 9 round up. We can't round the 9 up without rounding the 3 up, so 440 for our final answer. If you put 439.6, you were lucky here, you did get 2 marks for that. Now this one, a lot of people tried this, a lot of people got some marks on it, but I'm going to miss this one out because it's not something that, strictly speaking, we've not covered this year. But it's speed equals distance over time. You might be familiar with that, you might be able to get some marks, but I'm missing this one out for now. Question 14, first of all, the modal class interval, so we're looking for the highest number in the frequency column, which is 21, and then the class interval that goes with that, so 20 to 24. So that is what we write down there for 1 mark. Part B is asking us for the estimate for the mean temperature. So what we've got to remember here is the mean is one of those that needs us to add extra columns on, and the columns that it wants us to add on are the midpoint column, lift myself, not enough room there, which we usually call x. Frequency column, remember, is called f, and then we want f times x column added on as well. So the midpoint halfway between 8 and 12 is 10. Halfway between 12 and 16 is 14. 16 and 20. Halfway between 20 and 24. Halfway between 24 and 28. Then we do the f times x column, so 6 times 10 is 60. 8 times 14, and so on, and as you've heard, the bell's just gone, so I will continue this later.